The man is reading a book. Enough is enough. It's time to stop playing pretend. I'm atheist, she isn't. Last night, we went out to her parents' house to color Easter eggs, because why not color eggs to celebrate the rising of your Savior? That's perfect logic, and don't question it. Anyhow, as we were coloring, I was ranting about stuff that I think is awesome and what I want to see happen in my lifetime. I am on a total space kick lately because I've been playing Kerbal Space Program a bunch. I was saying how I want to see a probe go to Europa because of the liquid water under the surface that has been there for millions of years, and wherever there is water, there is usually life. Shout out to NDT. We then joked about how The Little Mermaid is actually on Europa. Haha, awesome! This is when her father said, "Isn't it funny how you are talking about this stuff when we are celebrating Easter?" Me, what does Easter have to do with any of this? Dad, all your science stuff. You can probably guess where this is leading. Anyhow, I let it go and moved on, coloring my Easter eggs, whatever. Fast forward 20 minutes, and we get to talking about the pictures on the wall of their family and their respective portraits. Girl's little sister has a dyke haircut when she was younger, so they start making fun of her for it. I join in, saying, "You know, they are fighting for you right now in the Supreme Court so you could one day get married." She laughs and says, "Yeah, I know." Not getting the joke, though. Cue the mom. "Timmy, you aren't one of those people support of the gays, are you?" Me? Of course I am. You aren't one of those people that is about to tell me that it is wrong because it is in the Bible, are you? Huge conversation bursts. It is now her dad, mom, sister, and some dude I just met that is friends with her little sister, about 16, against me, while the girl I love sits by quietly. She didn't have an opinion on this matter anyhow. This was the opposite. I couldn't believe it. I was sitting there having a f***ing conversation about this. I didn't think it was possible for these people to actually exist, and here they were, all along, right in front of me, saying all the terrible things we've been reading the past couple of days. They, of course, went on to asking about why I am an atheist, and had a huge discussion about that started. You know, the typical stuff that we all see on here. Well, imagine all that Facebook bullshit, but hearing it from the people you love, and some 16-year-old know-it-all boy. The evolution crap. Why isn't there any evidence for evolution? It hasn't been proven. It's just a theory. I said, you keep using that word, theory, like it is insulting. Theory is the graduation day and its highest honors. Read a book on evolution. No, it isn't. There's not even one piece of evidence for evolution. Where are the bones for it all? Where's the half-man, half-monkey bones? I said, those don't exist. If we found them, then it would completely disprove evolution. And there are museums full of fossil records. The evidence is enormous and proven. It was seriously this conversation. This video, fast forward, the part in that video where he goes FFS and almost starts crying out of rage and frustration because no matter what you say, nothing is being heard. That was me last night. Well, I started to get angry and went on the attack. No more Mr. Nice Atheist. It is time to knock out this God delusion. Shout out to Dawkins. Mom said, well, what if your kid came home and told you he is gay? Hypothetical, I don't have kids. I said, I would be completely fine. In fact, I will submit to you that I would rather have my child come home gay than a Christian. That is how much I despise your religion, how much I wish it didn't exist. You guys all think you are all moral, but damn me because I don't believe. That's not morality, that's not justice. I said, tell me if your God is so moral, sarcastically, why would this all-powerful being that created the universe, that can do anything, right, allow an innocent child to be raped? I said, he surely knows it will happen and can do something to intervene, so why doesn't he? 16-year-old said, I don't know. Why don't you ask him? Anyway, you said that if God interfered with our lives, it wouldn't be free will and a dictatorship. Me, I don't care about any of that. If there is something that could prevent a child from being raped, I want that something or someone to help that child. 16-year-old, me, that's the difference between me and your God. If I was knowing a rape was happening, I would do everything in my power to prevent this rape from happening, even if it meant risking my life. I would not sit by thinking it's all part of the plan and perfectly justified. That's why I am more moral than your God. That's why your God does not deserve my worship, and that is why your God is something that, if existed, I would fight against with all of my being. Shout out to the TAE. After a long pause, the mom broke the silence by saying the experience that makes her think there is a God trying to ease the tension. It worked, because I made my points and I was done. I sat there for a while after we all finished talking. The kid and the little sister were still talking, and I could hear them dancing around like a pigeon who just wanted chess, saying how he disproved everything I said with evidence, the Bible, obviously. The whole time the conversation was happening, my girl was sitting there listening. We've had conversations like this before, but she doesn't know as much. She doesn't have an argument and usually just says, "You will have to talk to someone like a priest because I don't have all the answers." It was last night that I realized just how my family would look if I continued the relationship with this woman. I thought of my kids going to see Grandma and Grandpa, and they would tell them all about God. I can hear my wife telling our kids about Jesus and me being like, just like Santa Claus, and a huge fight breaking out. Religion poisons everything. Shout out to Hitchens. It has poisoned our relationship. It is poisoning her family's minds and causing them to be huge f***ing bigots, but still think they are on the side of morality. I can't deal with that. I'm running as far away from that as possible. It really sucks, though, and really hurts. I have spent 6 years with this woman, wanted to marry this woman. I'm 25, buying a house, and I'm a computer programmer. I got my shit together. I was ready to start a life. Now she's texting me right now still, and I'm not replying. I'm done. Thanks for letting me rant and reading my story. I don't really feel all that much better, but it is good to get this anger out. Time for a new chapter in my life. I'm going to work on me for a while. Start getting used to the single life, being alone and all that. I don't want to hurt a girl because my heart is still broken and she gets cut on the shards. Once that's all glued back together, then I'll put myself back on the market. Until then, time for some deep self-reflection. TLDR read, F*** you, go read it. I spent the first hour of my job writing the story for you. Edit. Why did I break up with my GF when this is what the family did? She sat there. We've tried to have this discussion before, but she doesn't know how to say what she's thinking like her family does. She looks to her family for guidance on religion and 100% agrees with everything they were saying that night. Her sitting there was her watching her family have the argument that she never could verbalize and hoping they win. In my rant, I didn't think about explaining this. More or less was just describing what happened last night. Edit 2. Thanks for the support from those that supported and for whoever gave me gold. That's awesome. Those calling me the same as the Christians I despise are incorrect, and I think these two comments say it all. Father Mithrash, 2 points 11 minutes ago. Wrong. Absolutely, undeniably wrong. Like he said, what if he has a gay child? She agrees with her parents on homosexuality and would do psychological harm to their child because of that. Religious values affect the person's actions and how they will raise children. If you can tolerate someone's religion but don't want it impressed on your future children, it can absolutely be a good reason to break up. What if someone believes women should be covered head to toe or shouldn't have an equal say in the household? I get the idea. We should respect each other's beliefs and love is more important, but that's a fairy tale idea, not real life. Baker Bits, 2 points 3 minutes ago. Breaking up with someone for any reason is a good reason, isn't it? If you're not happy with someone, you really don't have to validate your leaving to anyone but yourself. Bingo. In the end, this happy relationship has turned into a sad one filled with anger towards each other. It goes both ways. If she read Reddit, you'd probably see a huge rant in /Christianity or something and huge upvotes for her there. I have my mom to deal with right now, and getting her to see that she didn't fail and that she can love someone that is an atheist. She said, I just can't love someone who calls themselves an atheist. Our relationship hasn't been the same since then. Then she brings up my deceased father and how sad he would be. Then I have my brother and his family to worry about with his crazy mother-in-law that is trying to take away his kids from my devil-worshipping atheist brother. I don't need this drama in my life, and I don't need another ignorant, Bible-thumping family in my life. Why is it really that hard to understand? Edit 3. To put it in perspective, this has been coming since 5 months ago. We've had talks about religion before. I've asked her, which is more important, your love for me or your religion? Religion was